Hi everyone, welcome back to ROS Q&A, ROS2 Q&A here at The Construct. My name is Rodrigo, and today I'm going to be showing you how you can use nav2, and more specifically nav2's simple commander API that they have created in order to write a program that will make your robot follow a set of waypoints with a module that the nav2 creators have also written. So it's really simple and really useful for a lot of applications. So let's go, you guys. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is go to the constructsim.com, which is our platform. And if you don't have an account, you can create one really quick. And if not, you can log in and a home screen will show up sort of like this. And for this, we're going to be using a ROS check that I've already prepared, which has a robot simulation as well as nav2 set up already for us. And it's this one called Robotics Robots. And you will have the description down below in the link for this ROS check, so you can fork it in your account, and the description down below. So make sure you check it out so you can follow along with me. So you should be able to click that link and something like this should appear, which is the Robotics ROS checked, which is really nice because you can get to testing right away. So once you have this, we're just going to go ahead and click run. And while it's loading, let me just take you back to the constructsim.com and do my constructsim.com and just show you what you can learn with us. We have over 50 robotics courses in both ROS and ROS2. It doesn't matter if you're a beginner or an advanced programmer, you can come over and take courses starting from learning to program in Python and C++, all the way to things like autonomous navigation like we're doing now, and Kalman filters, machine learning, everything you can imagine related to robotics. So I recommend you guys check out our platform. Okay. So now that we are back in our ROS check, you'll see something like this. So there's a notebook giving little instructions on how to launch the simulation. And let me just go ahead and launch it. So in a new terminal over here, we can, let me just do a fresh one. Over here, all we need to do is paste this last command for the simulation. It's already prepared for us. And this should open a gazebo and a bunch of other things. All right, so here's the simulation, and as you can see, the robot is right here, and it has two lidars. That's the blue you're seeing around here. And it's just in this nice enclosure so we can test our waypoint follower. Okay, so then what else do we have? We have our vis over here, which will show our, once we launch navigation, we'll show our map and things like that. And, oops, sorry. In this tab over here, you also have already a teleop twist program in order for you to move around the robot without having to launch anything else. All right, so this is the base we have for our waypoint follower. So the idea then will be for the robot here, this guy, to move, let's say, to 3 waypoints, and we're going to tell it to wait at a certain amount of time, and then that's it, and we'll just spin our node so it keeps following those waypoints. For example, we can choose this over here up top, and then in the other 2 corners, let's say, and the idea is for the robots to start sort of a patrol of this area. All right, so let me show you the IDE, which is this button over here where we have all our code. All right, so everything is placed under our ROS2 workspace. So, and you already have a couple of packages in here. You have 3 main folders. We have things for the simulation, and so you don't have to touch this. And we also have for you guys the navigation setup. So if you don't want to set it up yourself, this is a nice way to do it. And we're going to be using these packages. Basically, we're going to launch the localization and the path planning server in order to be able to use a program to send waypoints. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is check out we're going to make sure navigation works, okay? So for that, we can see that this path planner server has a launch file, pathplanner.launch.py. And in here, we launch a bunch of nodes and load a bunch of configuration files. And same for the localization server. So if we go here, we're going to have a localization launch and a path planner launch. Remember, I'm assuming you already know the basics of navigation too, and that you already know how to make a map, because we already have a map here already that we're going to be using. So remember, the robot has to be localized before it can autonomously navigate. So what we're going to do is launch this and then launch this and just make sure our navigation works. So let's do that. So in a new terminal, I'm just going to, don't worry about these errors. So in a new terminal, I'm going to launch 2 separate so you can see them separately. In here, we're going to launch our localization. So it's ROS2 launch, localization server, localization, and then I think it's .launch.py. Yes. And if I make this big really quick, you'll see that it is setting an initial post already. Oh, it's already opening things. But let me take you back to that. It's this one. Like I was saying, it's already setting our initial pose, and this is assuming we know where the robot is. If you don't know, you shouldn't do this. You should start it without the initial position and then just set it yourself in RVis with this 2D post estimate button. And yeah, so now you can see here that we have 2 RVis windows open. You can just close one. Let's close this one. And since we didn't have many errors, we're going to trust that everything went well with the localization. And over here, we're just going to launch our path planner. So it's pathplanner.launch.py. And in here, what we're looking for is, of course, no errors. And what I like to see is that the lifecycle manager right here has outputted this message: managed nodes are active. That means seems like everything is okay. And over here in RVis, we can resize it by double clicking this blue bar over here. Let's try and see if you add by topic, we can see that there's a global cost map over here. And we should see that it was published. That's from the navigation, so we know that at least the cost maps are being published here. So we can do the global and then the local over here, right, like so. All right, and then to just test, we can send a 2D goalpost. Let's do over here. And you can see that the robot is moving, and if you switch to gazebo, you'll see the same. So we know that our navigation system is working. So now we can start doing what we need to do in order to implement the waypoint follower. So I'm just going to send it back. Actually, I don't need to send it back. I'm just going to let it do its thing. And if you go into the navigation terminal where you launch navigation, we can see eventually if the controller is tuned well enough, it'll reach the goal. So that's what we see here. It has reached the goal. Great. So now we can go ahead and start with our waypoint follower. So for this, we're going to be using the Simple Commander API. Let me just Google it for you so you can, I'm going to paste the link to for this so you can check it out yourself. And it's just a really nice way to interface with nav2. And so we're going to create a new package that will have a program that will basically use this basic navigator class that we will use import from the Simple Commander. Okay, so what we're going to do then is just create a new package. So in a new terminal, we're going to create a new package, and we're going to call it follow waypoints. All right. So cd ROS2 src ROS2 package create, and we're going to make it build type amend Python, and we're going to call it follow waypoints. All right. So now if we do an ls, we should see a new package called follow waypoints. And you can see it here in the IDE. We're going to create a new file under the second follow waypoint. So if you do an amend Python package, it's going to create a package called what you called it, and then underneath that there's going to be a folder called the same, which will have the init.py. That's where you could do it in src, but I just put in my programs in here because it's easier to add them in your setup.py. So in here, we'll just create a new program called follow waypoints.py. And make sure to make it executable. I'm actually not sure if this is necessary in ROS2, but I mean, never hurts. All right. And I'm going to be pasting this program. I'll share it also with you guys in the description, and I'll explain it really quick. It's really simple. Okay, so this is taking from the examples provided by nav2. I think if you go to Simple Commander, GitHub, nav2, let's see. I think this is it. Yes, this nav2 repository, you'll have this package called nav2 Simple Commander. And in here you have a bunch of examples for following waypoints, from going from post to post, just to simple navigate to post. So I'm taking this from this example. It's a bunch of changes, but I'll tell you what they are. So in case you're wondering, I'll also put this in the description. So as you can see, let me show you guys what this is doing. So from the Simple Commander, the Robot Navigator, we're going to import this basic navigator and this navigation result. And basically what we're doing is initializing a node and this object for basic navigator, and then we're setting an inspection route. So it's basically a bunch of points, you can put as many as you want, that the robot is going to go through in our follow waypoints. So then what we do is to wait using our object for basic navigator. There's a method called wait until nav2 is active, which makes sense. And then I'm going to spin it. So I'm going to do a while my node is okay. I'm going to do this every time in order for the patrol to just go on forever. So up here, I left this commented because it can be useful. It's to set your initial pose when you launch a program like this. I didn't set it because remember, we already set it when we launched localization, but this is a nice way to also set an initial position. If so, it's right here. All right, so what we're doing then is creating inspection points with the type pose stamped, and we're giving it a default no rotation and orientation. And then we're telling the program to go through each pose and use this method called follow waypoints by this basic navigator to go through our inspection points. And while it's not finished, it's going to be telling us what waypoint is currently on, and when it's done, it's just going to say we're done, let's go next to the next waypoint, and so on forever. All right, but this is not it. So if we were to, here, I'll show you. We need to do a couple more things. So if you, again, I'm assuming you know how to set up navigation, you've done it before. So in our path planner launch, wherever we're launching our nav2 nodes, like the planner, the recoveries, the BT navigator, and the controller, we need to add an extra node. And what this node is going to be doing is calling the waypoint following. It's an action server that gets launched if you add it. So let's do that. So we're going to go, actually forgot the precise name of it, so let's look for it. I have it in my local computer. So okay, so this is a launch file where I already added this. Okay, yes. So it's called nav2 waypoint follower. So basically we're just gonna add a new node called waypoint follower from the package nav2 waypoint follower. So we'll just copy this, and you can paste it after the recoveries, let's say. So right here. So this is just another node that's going to launch this action server that's called waypoint follower. So unless you can see, it requires a parameter called waypoint follower yum. So we're going to add this to our launch file as well. So we're going to, we can just copy from this and rename it waypoint follower yum, and it's going to be coming from a different package. It's going to be coming from the follow waypoints, and it's going to be called follow waypoints.yum. And as you can see, there's a config folder that doesn't exist yet. So let's create it. Over here, here's our package. We can just create a new config, like so. Right on. So now we've added our node, and we have to add it to our lifecycle manager. So over here, we're just going to add waypoint follower, like so. So now we can create our config file. In the folder we just created, we can call it, like we said, follow waypoints.yelm. And we're going to paste, this is actually this. Let me just make sure. Yes, oh, I added a pause duration. This is just parameters for the plugin. So I'm going to paste them. I will share it again in the description of the video. But basically, you're just telling it to loop at a rate, to use this plugin, and to pause 200 milliseconds in each waypoint. All right. So with that, we have everything we need. We have our Python program that will basically command the robot to go to these points. And then I like to do it in the nav2 main launch you have. You add the node waypoint follower with the corresponding config file that you should add over here, and then add it to your lifecycle manager. All right, what's left? Our setup.py. Yes, remember, if you create a new package, you're gonna have to move around the setup.py. I don't remember exactly what it is, but it doesn't matter because I usually just copy it from another one. So it's these two. You have to import OS and import glob for ease of joining path names. So we add that, and down here, so first here, I did it already here. We have to add the config folder to our setup.py, and this is how you do it. So you go here and you add it. So you're basically joining the share, package name, follow waypoints, and then config. So it's going to be in our install folder, and that's telling us, oh, you should find all the config files in that location. And then we have to include our entry point. So for that, let me just for this, let's do it like this. I always remember doing like this. You open up quotation marks, and then you have to name your executable. I always call it the same, follow underscore waypoints, except with an underscore exe equals, and then you have to say the name of the package. So follow waypoints, the same. The name of the program, of the file, again, follow waypoints.py without the .py. And then you're going to be executing the main function of it. So this is how you set up an entry point. All right. So let's see if it works. So in a new terminal, let's see if we got a new one over here. Here. We will do a Qualcomm build in order to get all those changes. And I could have only done the path planner server and the follow waypoints package, but sometimes I like to do everything because I don't remember which packages I changed. So I mean, it's up to you. But now that we have it, we can source it, and let's see if it works. So let me set it up so we can see the navigation. This is the navigation, I think. Yes, this is localization, so we don't really need it. And we don't really need this one. And I will put this nicely. Like so. And lastly, our gazebo simulation, just to make sure it's actually following some waypoints. All right, so now that we've sourced, we should be able to see the executable with ROS2 run. I always do tab to make sure it's installed correctly, and then tab again. You should see the follow waypoint exe. And launch it. Alright, so now it waited until navigation, made sure it was ready, and then it's sending this first goal that we set, which was, what was it? 5-0. So if you like with respect to map, so it would be up here. So it should start going for it. So as you can see, it's kind of trying to reach that. I could add the paths, but I'm not going to do that. That's for another video. I just want to make sure it's working. So right now it seems like it's trying to do its job. And there we go. So it's kind of going to that first, which is up here. Now once it reaches the goal, so once it arrives, I keep forgetting which is our important, here and here. You see, it's going to try and get there, and sometimes it won't because the tuning is not perfectly well. So it's going to try and send it again. There you go. So it has reached the waypoint. I don't know if you saw up here, but it failed once, and then afterwards it made it. Sometimes you just have to let the controller do its thing, or spend a lot of time tuning it perfectly so you know it's going to reach the goal every single time. And that's, again, that's for another video. So as you can see now, it's going to its second waypoint, and this is just going to go on forever. So it's just going to be a loop of a patrolling robot. So over here, it's going to, I sent it to -5, -5, so it should go here, and then to -5, 5. So it should do a triangle, just go on forever like so. Let's just make sure it reaches the second waypoint and it starts going to the third, and that should give you a pretty good idea. While it's doing its thing, let me just go over everything we did. So, in order to use the Simple Commander API, you need to have a working navigation system. Wherever you launch the navigation system, you also have to include this waypoint follower action server. And remember, it's called nav2 waypoint follower, and it takes a parameter, a config file, that it's going to be, I put it in the same follow waypoints package, but you can put it wherever you want, and it's just going to be this default configuration that I got from the official documentation. Oh, and don't forget to add it to your lifecycle manager, the node that you added. Then, in the follow waypoints program, you create a simple program that is going to take in these points and just spin forever and it's going to just send those points over and over again. And again, this is taking from the example, this one. It's a little different, but I mean, this just does it once, and it sets the initial position, and it stops the navigation life cycle. So I did it so it went on, going on forever, so it's a patrolling robot. And let's see if it's still going. Yeah, you can see it's still going. It's going to its third waypoint already. And when it finishes, it should go back to the first one. And that's pretty much it. That's it's a lot of steps, but if you know the basics of navigation, it makes it a lot easier. Just remember to add the action server and just playing around with the Simple Commander API. And yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions, if this was clear, and just comment down below. And yeah, make sure you use this ROS jack and you share it with whoever, and keep pushing your ROS learning. So I will see you guys next time. It's really nice to do another video, and we'll see you guys next time. So bye bye, guys.